Welcome back, everybody, to another Sunday edition of Wise Take Nation's NASCAR DFS live stream. We are here for the Supermarket Heroes 500 in Bristol at the Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. I'm here always joined by Wise Take's own fantasy NASCAR guru guy, Tom. You can find him at kartracing_22. How's it going, Tom?
What's up, brother, man? Got some short track racing. This is the fun one. If any of you guys just play the DFS NASCAR and don't actually watch it, I recommend you watch today. Bristol's always been a fun track. It's a short track. It's only a half-mile long. It's super high banked. They call it the Bull Ring. They call it the Thunderdome. Like, it's awesome. You could see a guy win this race with a car that's got some pretty serious damage to it. Missing some fenders, some doors knocked in. These guys are going to push each other out of the way to get past. So definitely a fun race to watch, man. But the good guys are usually good here. It's a lower downforce package than they had last year. Something more equivalent to what they had at Phoenix. Even though Phoenix is a mile long, it's still a pretty steep banked, kind of a short track, intermediate track kind of hybrid. So you can take a little bit of data from there. But yeah, man, good pricing again on DraftKings this week. A couple guys they were a little cheap on, but yeah, definitely some good decisions to be made today, and let's get at it, brother.
Yeah, if you're new to the show, we go driver by driver breakdown in each of the pricing tiers. Then at the end of the show, we will throw any questions you have in the YouTube chat or the Wise Take live stream chat, and that's how the show goes. If you are just joining us, if you could hit that subscribe button and then hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. But let's get started into it. Of the 10K and up guys, we have 6 of them here at Kyle Busch at 12,500, all the way down to Jimmy Johnson at 10,200.
So yeah, man, all these guys again this week. Kyle Busch is usually really good here, but just this year he hasn't looked that great. I mean, he hasn't led a lap since Daytona. Even last week he got hit, had the fender ripped off, ended up finishing deep in the field, kind of killed us last week. It's been wild. So starting 7th, this is a little bit more normal Kyle Busch, so you'd hope that he does get out there and lead some laps. I think you're going to need a little more than 5x this week. You're going to probably need closer to 6x. I think you're going to need at least 2 or 3 guys to score probably in the 75 to like 85 range, because the Dominator points are spread out pretty high up here. So, you hope to get a guy that gets maybe 30, 40 laps led in like 20 fastest laps or something like that. And a lot of that's going to come from these guys up front with the, it was more boring with the downforce package last year. It wasn't as crazy, but I think this year you're going to see a little bit more sliding. They get the PJ1 traction compound down as well. So, Kyle Busch, you're going to need him to win the race and get you close to 10 Dominator points to even hit 5x. So, I think that's going to help limit his exposure. I still see him somewhere in the mid-20s probably. I think a lot of these guys are going to be like that. Kevin Harvick, same thing. Almost exactly the same story. He's really good here. Was on his way to killing it last year in the fall when his transmission went out. He's been really good on the steep tracks this year. He's averaging, I think, about 50-something fastest laps and about 75 laps led on these steep tracks in the last year, and like an average finish in 9th. So, another guy you think can get there, maybe a little bit. You're in the same ballpark as Kyle Busch with him. Denny Hamlin, I think, will probably be lower owned just because of like where he is in price. You got Chase Elliott, who's starting 6th. I think I'd take a bigger stand on him. Even Joey Logano, and then Jimmy Johnson again with the automatic, hopefully, place differential. Starting 24th, you're hoping he can get you inside the top 10 or so or something like that to hit 5x. So, and that doesn't mean that he doesn't get out and somehow get some Dominator points as well. Logano, the entire Penske team is starting in the top 5 pretty much, him, Blaney, and Keselowski on the pole. So, again, how does that work out? Can these guys get out and play a little blocking game, let them get out a little bit? Who's going to lead the race between the 3 of them, Logano, Blaney, or Keselowski? You would think Keselowski probably easier because he's starting on the pole. So, it's going to be interesting playing. It's like I said, there's some tough decisions. Everybody's got a little bit of love. The pricing, I think, is fairly good this week. We'll get into some of these guys that are a little bit cheaper that, they kind of missed a little bit. But in this upper price range, they're pretty spot on.
If you had to take your top 2 or 3 favorite guys in this upper tier range, who would you go for?
Probably Chase Elliott personally would probably be my my favorite, just because I hope he gets out in leads. He's been crushing this year. And then for me, it's probably a toss up. Really, Logano, Harvick, and Kyle Busch are all kind of in the same boat to me. So I don't know. I'd probably take a stand on Logano. He's looked a little bit better lately. Then probably Kyle, and then probably Kevin in that order if we were looking at the other guys, because they're all pretty close.
Gotcha. And then let's go on to the next range. There's only 3 $9,000 guys, so I'll just include to 8,000 because there's only 4 of them. So from 9,800 at the top at Clint Boyer all the way down to 8,100 of Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, I think a lot of your lineup's going to come from these guys. Boyer is kind of in the exact same boat as Jimmy at just a few $100 savings. You're getting one less place differential spot, but you're getting the savings. Like I said, Jimmy Johnson needs like a top to hit 5X. Clint Boyer only needs a top 10, so you're saving the money there. Martin Truex starting 5th. It's not been the greatest on short tracks. I mean, he's good on some steep tracks, but Bristol just hasn't been good to him. He's got a top 10 average finish at the steep tracks, even though Bristol's usually the one that kind of kicks him in the nuts every year. He's averaging a good amount of fastest laps. So he's run well here, but just doesn't get the finishes. It's usually bad luck, pit lane, things like that. So, I got some love for Martin Truex. He's, I think, a guy that's probably going to come in, somewhere in that, 10 to 15% range. I could see that being a little higher from the projections, probably closer to that 20 mark, just because he's been good recently. And then, as we go down, you have, then you got Keselowski starting on the pole. The easiest way for him, he's going to need to win pretty much just to hit 5X. So, anything gravy, if he ends up winning this race, all those dominator points are what are pushing you past 5X, 6X, 7X. So, like I said, I definitely like Keselowski starting on the pole, especially with this whole team starting right behind him for 2nd and 4th. So, Bowman's been decent on these steep tracks, averages about where he starts. Bristol, he's been solid at every year. Starting 11th, he pretty much just needs a top 5 to hit the 5X, but I think you're going to need more than that this week. So, Bowman's somebody you could potentially take a stand on. I think Bowman's probably going to come in, again in that 15 to 20% range. So I think these guys in this 8 to 9K range, when you're trying to get your 2 to 3 to even possibly 4 dominator build, you're going to have to probably have some of these guys in your lineup for the move. These are going to be your movers and shakers in your lineups when you're, trying to roll through tournaments. Keselowski, Blaney. I like Blaney as well. Starting with his team, he's a cheaper option on the Penske team. So you're getting the savings there. Kurt Busch, the same thing. There was a while where it was a Busch brother winning this race every year, like back and forth. So I do like Kurt Busch starting 12th. Like I said, I don't think his ownership's going to be anything, ridiculous. Probably in the, high teens to low 20s, or something like that for him. And then Matt Kenseth, this is a track that's it's a workout. He hasn't really been in a car. 14th. I definitely think he's going to be the lowest owned in this price range for sure. Probably right around that 10% mark. So, but he has looked really good recently. So, I wouldn't, he's somebody you could potentially take a stand on, and take maybe a 15% stand on him or something like that. Maybe even a little bit more if you feel, he's somebody that can make the moves today.
Gotcha. Let's take four guys of this 8 to 9K range that you like the most.
8 to 9K range. Keselowski for sure. I think he's the clear, guy. You just need him to lead a little bit in front of it. Needs to lead a little bit and finish well. And they've been fairly well. Probably in that range, man. Probably Blaney. Blaney or Boyer if you want to take the safe route. I think Boyer's safe, but I don't know, man. I really like Blaney's chances today, man. He's been running really well. It's just he needs to get the finish. These guys are starting to feel they're getting really repetitive. Like Blaney, Stenhouse. Stenhouse crushed it for us last week, but again, it's like you're still taking stabs with these guys because they're younger. They don't get the finishes all the time, but when they do, they're really good finishes. So yeah, probably Blaney for me, and then and then Truex if you think he can get out and at least lead a little bit and finish well.
Gotcha. If you haven't already, if you get subscribe, then hit the like button. That'd be awesome. Let's get down to the 7K range. We got 7 drivers here. Starting at 7,900 is Tyler Reddick, all the way down to Eric Jones at 7,000.
Okay. Definitely in this range, I like probably Bubba's going to be super safe. I mean, he's felt that way every week, starting this deep in the field. But man, I was heartbroken. Like there was 60 laps left in the race last week. Bubba's crushing. He's in 15th from starting 38th, and then he hits the wall. So he was the Ricky Stenhouse of that race for sure. Because Ricky went out and finished 4th. That was also wild.
Bowman.
Him race. Huh?
Also Bowman on Thursday.
Bowman was soul crushing as well, man. That hurt. So Tyler Reddick, I like. I mean, he's starting fairly deep in the field. Not crazy. Tyler Reddick feels a lot like a Ricky Stenhouse now. Just because he's not been getting the finishes. He looks like he's running well, and then he just doesn't get it. William Byron, same boat as Bowman pretty much every week. Now you see them being fairly level. Byron at Bristol. Let me get my notes on him. It's not one of the greatest tracks for him. My initial lean was probably towards Bowman anyways. For Byron to hit value of 5X, he needs to finish pretty much inside the top 10. So, you're not asking for a whole lot. And, with pit strategies on this really short track, it could lead to, some strategy stuff where he could get some laps led. So, he's going to be one of those, sub 15% probably drivers that, 15 to 20% that you're going to try to use to move around because, there's so many different ways you can attack this week. You can attack very blended if you want to try to fit in some of these mid-ranged dominators if you think it's going to be a 3 to 4 dominator race, because you're going to probably be able to take 1, maybe 2 studs, because you're going to try to stay out of the bottom of the dumpster this week. So, I think more blended is how you're going to see the lineups come out. So again, you're going to probably end up with some of these guys down here. Bubba Wallace, again, like I said, safest option. Ricky Stenhouse, can he go out and get us a 4th place again? And this is a track that, the high line is normally the preferred line here. So, I could see Ricky being somebody you could take a stand on trying to get there as well. Christopher Bell is going to be super chalk, starting 35th. I think he's going to be probably one of the highest owned guys just because he was pretty good here in Xfinity. And he really can almost not score you negative points. So, and then Matty D, that's going to be your big dart throw here at $7,100. Starting 9th. You'd expect probably MDB somewhere in the 15s probably, but he has run really well here before. So, I could see you taking a stand on him for sure. He finished top 10 here in garbage cars. So, but he's starting pretty far forward. You need him to finish, like I said, about where he started to pay off. So, again, if he gets a little bit of strategy, he could be somebody you could be moving. I think he'll be probably in that, 10 to 20% range or so probably, this week, just because he has been fairly good here. And this is probably the best car he's been in up there. So, I could see you taking a stand with him as well, too.
You say Eric Jones?
No, Eric Jones also. Eric Jones and Eric Jones in the same boat as MDB, but you're getting the extra free spaces as far as starting position. So you could see him finishing top 10. I think that's pretty much all he'd have to do. He literally needs the same thing as MDB. Just needs to finish about when he started to hit 5X. So, you hope, again, pit strategy or, a bunch of extra spots and gets inside the top 10 for him to be a big difference maker for you.
Who are your few favorites in the 7K range?
Christopher Bell's the chalk safe piece. If you're trying to build like a cash lineup, I could see, if you could build your cash lineup with like Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and we'll take even Keselowski. That still leaves you $7,500 for the other three guys. So like I said, I don't think you're going to have to get into the bottom of the dumpster. If you really want to be super safe, you can go take a Bubba Wallace at 7,500, still $7,400 for the other two drivers. So, it's pretty easy, I think, to build on that as like your cash basis, at least on DraftKings. I don't think you have to even go. I mean, you could do that on FanDuel too. It's going to be a little weird. I think because there's 50 Dominator points on FanDuel, I could see that, trying to get like 2 Dominators or something like that on FanDuel, which normally you don't care. You're all worried about finishing position and just that they finish all the laps, and that's all you're really looking for, and a couple place differential points, because that's the only thing that really is the big movers for that. So in this range, probably, like I said, we're in the 7K, right? Tyler Reddick is probably the safest, and then it's the Eric Jones and Ricky Stenhouse, probably dart throw for me. And then even MDB at the, probably slightly higher on than those two, but he's probably safer. But I think you'd want to take a shot down here. I'd rather take shots on like Stenhouse or Jones.
Gotcha. I do see the questions already in the YouTube chat. After we finish these last couple tiers of drivers, we'll get to the questions just to let you know. Let's go into the 6K range. We got 6 guys here. Ryan Newman at 6,800, all the way down to Ryan Preece at 6,000.
Yeah, again, so these guys, you don't need a whole ton from them. Newman needs a top 13 finish. He's been looking really good since he's been back, so I like his price. I mean, this is probably the cheapest you'll ever see him. He averages about 15th here, which is about what he needs to do. And he's had 6 top 10s here in his last 10 races, so I like him as a tournament guy. I can still see him garnishing probably, closer to that 25 probably mark. I see him being a little bit higher owned just because he's just been so good lately. Eric Amarola, I think the negative place differential, even at this price, I mean, it's nice to only be paying $6,700 for him. Amarola is going to need probably somewhere inside the top 10, top 6. My top 6 gets you a 5X. So, but starting second, if there's a chance that he gets around Keselowski and leads the first 40 or 50 laps of this race, up until the competition caution or something like that, and then finishes as around the top 10, I think he's going to get you there. Suarez, you always want to say that he's been safe at starting this deep in the field. There's an uncharted team, but he's just not been getting you there. I mean, I still expect him to get some ownership, but I think people are starting to finally get turned off on him just because he hasn't been finishing well. If you were asking me this question 2-3 weeks ago with him starting 37th, I would have said he'd probably be like 30%. But now it's probably more like 15 to 20 because the finishes haven't been there. He runs decent and then the car breaks, or he runs decent and then hits the wall. He's gotten to be a lot more inconsistent. You got both of the Dillon brothers are the next 2 guys. I mean, you've got Austin, just needs a top 15. He ran really well last week. But again, I think at this track, he's like Ricky Stenhouse. If he finishes, he could finish well, and he should finish well. If he gets inside the top 15, he's hitting 5X. I could even see Austin Dillon getting inside the top 10. But again, he has to just survive the race. His brother Ty just starting deep as always. He's been decent here. I could see him garnishing some ownership as well. I think he finished 20th and 15th here last year. And he just needs a top 20 or so to pay off. So he's, fairly safe at that price. Sorry, I've been building a swing set the last 2 days, man, so I'm just parched.
And they got Ryan Preece at 6,000.
Ryan Preece, I mean, you see that 33rd place starting spot, and you're like, all right, like, you feel like he's plug and play. I'd probably be much safer, even taking stands on somebody like Ryan Newman or even Daniel Suarez than I would have Priest. But I mean, he's a safe option at 6K. I mean, you don't need a ton, but I don't know, man. Priest just has not been, making me like him in the last couple of races. But he's a pivot off Suarez at that price. To me, I think he needs to be good. He's been decent in Xfinity here, but not anything crazy. I'd rather take a Dillon or the Suarez probably over Priest. But they're all kind of in that same. These are all fairly safe down here to get like your 5x. I don't think there's a whole ton of upside, but for them to hit a solid number, that you should be able to get that out of these guys.
Good. Who are your couple favorites in this 6K range?
6K range, Newman for sure, probably the best. I just like how he's looked. Ty Dillon and I guess Ryan Priest, but there's Suarez. It's like Ty or Suarez probably. I don't know. I don't like Priest this week, but you feel like he should get you like a 25th, and I think that's probably all he's going to need. But I don't know.
Yep. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. It'll notify you when we get on, and then hit the like button for all Tom's hard work here. Let's just get just below 6,000. Anything below 6,000 really tickle you fancy?
Yeah, I mean, these are, you're not expecting crazy difference makers. You got Buescher needs like a 17th to pay off. Corey LaJoie is wrecked here a few times, but if he does finish, he's finished okay. His average finish is like 25th for the season, so that's about what you need for him to pay off. So, safety safe, I guess. Custer just needs to get inside the top 20 pretty much to pay off. He's been good here in Xfinity. So I could see you, liking him. If he gets to top 15, he's definitely going to be somebody you like. But, again, he's a rookie. This is a rough track, so I don't know. And then John Hunter Nemechek, kind of the same thing. He was good at steep tracks in Xfinity. He's probably been one of the faster guys when he's good and he finishes. He's really fast, so I could see playing him. Again, probably just needs to finish about where he's starting to pay off. But I think really John Hunter is probably your cutoff. I don't think you're going any lower than that unless you really, really, really have to. And then that's like, the only thing I would go down here would be maybe McDowell, just because I don't think he's going to be high owned starting that far forward, and you're trying to get maybe an edge, but it's not an edge I'd be willing to take starting 25th. I think he needs somewhere around that to pay off, which he could do, but I don't know, man. He's just been rough. But like I said, if you've got to be down there, which I don't think you're going to be down here unless you really stacked it, I could see you going with maybe a McDowell or maybe like a Brennan Poole, but Brennan Poole crushed us in the trucks a couple weeks ago, and he just doesn't look that good in the NASCAR in the Cup Series, and the car is just not that good. I mean, it's decent, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, that concludes the driver by driver breakdown here. We will now be going to the questions portion of the live stream, so throw them on there, just nonstop. Any questions? We'll answer all the questions. But we have a few already. Swifty asked, a 3 Penske stack?
Yeah, I could definitely see you doing that. The only problem is you expect one of them to lead early, and then it's going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle unless they get out there and just as a team are rocking it and staying out front. I mean, yeah, I like Blaney's price tag. I think it makes it easy enough that if you wanted to triple stack, let's see what that would come out to. Blaney. Still leaves you with $7,200. I mean, you could. The winners of this race usually come from the top 10. So you like that. The most laps led are from the cars that usually start inside the top 10. Most of the race wins. I mean, even the pole sitters got the most wins, by a pretty substantial mark. I think it's like 25 wins here, lifetime, as compared to like the other spots are like in the top 10 or like 12, 15. So yeah, I can see you going there. And they just got to go grab some value. It depends on how you want to build past that. I mean, somebody like, Christopher Bell, be safe. And Bubba Wallace would be safe, which would leave you with 68. So you'd be swimming down here. You could take a Suarez if you wanted to and still leave you with a couple $100. So, yeah, I can see the 3 Penske stack working.
Gotcha. Robert Kahn asked, who do you think will win? Always a fun question.
Yeah. Let me look at it from a betting perspective. I like that better. I don't, overall winner, man, NASCAR is just too variant to really just be like, oh, I can pick the winner. I mean, the Bushes are good here, but, Chase Elliott's been lights out, so I don't know.
Okay, Ryan Preece it is for the winner.
Ryan Preece. I like Kurt Busch's odds at plus 1,800. He's done really well here. And of the favorites, Blaney or Harvick, maybe. I think that's where I jump on. Probably, I don't know. I'd take a stab at Blaney. I think his odds are like plus 1,300. So, you can get paid out, throw $5 to win like 115 or something like that. You want to take a stab at somebody like him.
Gotcha. I'm not going to try to pronounce that first name. I'll go Phelps as who do you like on FanDuel? With a different scoring structure and all that.
2 seconds.
1 second.
Like I said, I like the 2 Dominator over there. So I'd like to get a piece probably of some Keselowski, some Chase Elliott, probably for your Dominators. And then, you've got your pretty safe place differential guys, if you want to call it that. Bubba Wallace is just, dirt cheap. You take Bubba Wallace at 36 starting spot at $5,000. Again, it lets you really just do whatever you want with the other guys. And even Jimmy's underpriced at $10K. Christopher Bell's super cheap. If you put Christopher Bell, Bubba Wallace in your cash lineup, and then you could play all 4 of the top most expensive guys and still be able to do whatever you want. And then the Keselowski, Elliott's, the Kyle Bushes, stuff like that. You're looking for that lead, some Dominator points because, like I said, it is a little bit, something you can think about this week since there is 50 of them available because it's 500 laps.
Yep. Richard Olukoya asks, who is the fade of the race in any but of the drivers over 10,000?
I don't think there is any. I mean, everybody, if I had to, I hate the word fade, especially with these studs. I wouldn't not
underexposed.
Yeah, I mean, the least exposure probably up here, if you're looking at it from just straight ownership, is probably Hamlin. But, I like the fact that I think Hamlin's going to be the lowest owned in this range. It makes me want to play him more just because, other than the weight falling off, he probably would have done well at Charlotte, and he went out and did well the second race.
Yep. So,
I like Hamlin being at lower ownership. So you got to play pretty much everybody up here in some way, shape, or form.
Gotcha. Mr. Mike's daddy asks, what do you think of Matt, your boy MDB today? MDB,
yeah. You got the nickname down. MDB is, you need him to finish where he started to really hit regular 5x value. Like I said, I think you're going to need guys to score you you're going to probably need upper 400s score this week, to take down a tournament. I think cash will probably be a little bit lower because there's, like I said, the juicy place differential guys that are easy to build around. 2 to 3 Dominator builds. So MDB, I like him. MDB, I like him every week. This is the best car he's ever been in. And he's finished top 10 here. So, I like the fact that I don't think he's going to be ridiculously high owned, probably in, like I said, the 20 to 25% at the most. But, I could see that being a little much and him coming in under that and being more crucial to move you through some lineups. So I do like MDB for sure.
Gotcha. UK Cat 11 Space 1 ask your FanDuel tournament picks.
Tournament pick.
FanDuel GPP plays.
Joey Logano, I think, is going to come in fairly low owned, starting 3rd. I think people are going to try to take the for Keselowski up front, so I like him. and Denny Hamlin, I like too. I don't think he's going to come in super high owned either. And then, always Ricky Stenhouse throwing the dart. I think he'll probably come in sub 10%. And Ricky Stenhouse could go out and get you a top 10. So I like that as far as tournament targets. Those are the lower owned guys. So that's if you're looking for like tournament pivot movers and stuff like that. That's where I'd go.
Gotcha. Marcus Rembert asks, are there any sleepers we should watch for?
Sleepers are going to be, your Ricky Stenhouses, it's going to be just the guys that should finish well that just haven't got like the finishes. So you're going to need that to move. I think, your guys in the. I lost my sheet here.
While he's looking it up, if you could hit the subscribe and like button, that'd be awesome. Thank you very much.
So what was the question? I got lost there. Sleepers.
Sleepers.
Sleepers this week from an ownership perspective on DraftKings. Like I said, Denny Hamlin is somebody you could really take a stab at. Martin Truex, I don't think is going to be ridiculously high owned just because there's other guys that are good around him as well, but he's cheap. And yeah, Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Dillon, stuff like that. The guys that you don't need to do a whole lot, but could get you there.
Gotcha. Jeremy Duggan as Harvick, Keselowski, Boyer, Johnson, Bell. Is that okay for FanDuel cash?
Yeah, that's really, really safe. Maybe I think you need another dominator in there. Well, you got Harvick and Keselowski, Boyer, Johnson. Yeah, that's if you're going straight to dominator, I could see that being pretty much what everybody's going to do. I think that's super safe. That's like if you're doing like a 50-50 double up, I like that.
No, yes, it's FanDuel cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Blaine Duncan asks Keselowski or Truex, and that would probably depend on a couple
either
things.
Way, yeah. Either side, it's good. Keselowski, I think, is safer. Truex is not that far behind. But, he hasn't been the greatest at Bristol. So that's why I think Keselowski's safer. He's starting on the pole, but they're both good.
Gotcha. That's caught up on questions. Any more questions throw in? But are you building today like a super speedway kind of thing, or more just like you don't have to you can spend all your salary?
No. I think you could leave a little bit on the table. 1,000, 1,500, I could see happening just because if you're building more blended, it's just going to happen because you're playing more in that middle to 6, 7, 8K range. So 6, 7, 8, 9K range if you want to only grab like one piece in the 10K. So yeah, I don't think you'll have a ton, but a few bucks isn't going to kill you. I think you could, like I said, 1,000, 1,500, probably tops.
Gotcha. Any more questions? Throw them in. We'll be here for as long as the questions are coming in. We'll be here. Mm-hmm. I had something. Oh wait, we got a question. Well, I think of it. We got a question. Mr. Mike Zaddy, who do you think in the 15 to 20 range is your favorite flyer? You talked about Stenhouse being one of those guys, and Newman at 17 you like. Mm-hmm. Any other than those two, anybody in that 15-20 range?
15 to 20 range, yeah, you got Stenhouse, you got Newman, Eric Jones. Like I said, those are the movers in your lineups that are going to move you around. The 15% range probably is what these guys are going to come in around. So yeah, even Austin Dillon sneaking, he's pretty deep at $6,300. Like I said, you don't need a whole ton out of him starting 20th. So yeah, probably those guys.
How was Eric Jones done at this track? 7,000. He's been in 8,000, so it's a little bit cheaper than we're used to seeing Eric Jones at a decent starting position.
He's good at Bristol. He's finished inside the top 20 in 3 of the 4. He's had a couple of top 5s. I think 2 of those finishes probably could have been top 5s if he didn't get into issues. So, as long as he can finish, like I said, he needs to finish a couple. He only needs to get you a couple spots to get at 5X. And, I could see Jones getting into the top 10 or getting into the top 5 or even leading this race for a few laps. So, I could see Jones being somebody you're going to take a stand on.
Gotcha. Be here for stay a couple more minutes if no other questions come in. But when should you expect these major these crashes? When these big things
I don't know, man.
happen?
They've got that PJ1 traction compound on the lower groove, so I think everybody's going to try to stay in the upper groove and kind of just slowly start the venture down there to heat it up. So, because it's going to take 15, 20 laps, and it's going to be real slick because it's a really steep track. So it all depends on that, how quick, one of these guys are going to, I mean, that's like where some of these rookies could prevail. Like, if you just got huge cojones and you're just going to friggin' throw it into turn 1 and try to come out the other side in front of the guy you dove in on, then it'll happen. But again, you're doing that. You slide up out of the PJ1 traction compound, you're into the guy that you're passing, which could be a Harvick, it could be a Busch, it could be a Keselowski, it could be anybody. So there's a little this track, like your lineups are going to move like all day long. They're going to be shifting left and right because of pit strategies. If there's green flag pit stops here, you're losing 2 laps. Like, until the whole field cycles through, you could be a lap or 2 down, and that can be huge when it comes into strategy, because if you stayed out and you just put the whole field 2 laps down, they're only going to get one of them back. So you could literally take another pit stop and still be on the lead lap. Like, so, it's crazy how this one will move with like, the way the race plays out. And I hope with the lower downforce and slipperier cars, we get some more, things and dents, man. Like I said, I've seen Kyle Busch win this race with part of his rear bumper missing. Like, you're only doing 100 miles an hour, like average speed. You're hitting like 125, 130 on the straightaway and slamming on the brakes to like 65 to turn this, super, almost super short track, half mile. It's fun to watch, man. So a lot of variance.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Cannon Arm QB says, "Hey guys, love the show. Please, do you think Nemechek can stay on the lead lap starting 18th, trying to leverage over McDowell ownership?" Let me say, Cannon, thank you for loving the show.
I would definitely take Nemechek over McDowell, man. McDowell's just too far forward. I mean, like I said, you're not asking a whole lot out of him, but you are.
But he showed promise.
And he's cheap. I mean, at $2,100, I mean, was he like $4,000 or $4,500?
On what?
He's just not good here. He needs to get he needs to get you like a top 20 to pay off. And I guess if you really, really stack the top of your lineup, like you spent some serious dough, I could see you venturing down here. But it just needs to finish. Nemechek just needs to finish where he started in 18th. He's in a better car. He was decent here in Xfinity, but I don't know. I would definitely take Nemechek over McDowell, but I don't love either one of them unless, like I said, that's all you have left, and that's your last guy. I could see you hoping to God that one of the two of them pay off.
Yeah. Alan Morrow been over this a few times, but wasn't here probably for it. Stenhouse.
Yeah, Recky Stenhouse. If you think he finishes well. If you don't think he finishes, don't play him. But you're going to have some Stenhouse this week. You just have to know that you might be throwing that money in the garbage. But
I know.
But last week, he got you a 4th.
Yep, and then Bowman crashes for me, so it didn't matter. I finally get Stenhouse to do something in Bowman. But
yeah, we were talking about that after the race on Thursday, man. We were both crushing, and then Bowman and Bubba hurt a lot last week.
Decided to start drinking at pit stops and run into walls. Robert Kahn, he was wondering who has the best race stats for this race. So maybe looking for your best average finish. Stuff like that.
Are you on DraftKings or FanDuel, Rob?
While he waits to reply to that.
And then your second question, your Kyle or Kurt Busch? Kyle's safer. Yeah. Kurt Busch, I still really like. He's your difference maker this week. We're looking at my highest projected driver this week. Total fantasy points is Kyle Busch on FanDuel. But not Kyle Busch. Clint Boyer's up there, and so is Jimmy, I believe, as well. Jimmy's in the 90s, so I can see them both scoring.
It was on FanDuel.
Yeah. So your safe options, Jimmy, Kyle Busch. Like I said, I like, and then I'm going to see Keselowski being up there as well too.
Gotcha. UK Cat, Jones or Newman, FanDuel GPP.
Jones or Newman.
FanDuel.
They're like literally in the same ballpark. I don't know.
Coin flip.
I like Newman. Yeah, coin flip. I don't know, man. That's so tough. I want to say I'd lean Newman, but there's pieces of me that want to say I'd lean Eric Jones. But yeah, Newman's probably like a little hair safer, but they're both really good plays.
Gotcha.
I think they're going to be fairly high end.
No Ryan Priest questions? A little sad.
No, we don't need no Ryan Priest questions.
If you have it, please hit subscribe and like. So, any more questions come in, we can answer. We'll be here for a couple more minutes as long as we get questions. Don't want to just sit here and look at each other, even though I'm beautiful.
The smarter, wiser CK.
Yeah, the younger, better looking CK is what I said last week. Never asked him how he liked that, but I'm here this week, so he must have not hated it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so
if you got any Counter-Strike Go questions, we got Shockey here as well.
This week's dumb the way they set that up, so they have a lot of stupid things they did with it. Well, because of events, but how long does this race usually last? With the crashes.
I'm in second. Counter-Strike. It's awesome.
You still got It's only the second thing.
It's a nice start. I'll take that.
Robert Kahn, any weather issues? I don't think there should be.
No, man. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah. I don't see anything happening with that.
Unless a random tropical depression decides to come through out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Which I don't think those things just randomly come in Midland. Yeah. They don't. He said it's CK with short hair. Just wait. I'll grow the mullet back for the show. It'll be here by summer.
Nice.
But that looks like it's about it. Nothing really coming in. Just make sure. Nope. But,
check out the site, guys. Go to wisetake.com to check out the content again.
Real quick. Sorry. Before I finish it up, there was one question. It's always that question that pops up before I finish. Wes Burden has thoughts on Bowman as a dark horse.
Yeah, I can see you going there. It's just like last week, Bowman and Byron were both all right plays, and both of them looked like they were going to get there, and then both of them didn't. But, they could. And Hendrick's been fast, so yeah, I like him as a dark horse.
Another question. As soon as I do it. EP
Elliott.
2. Okay, what's the point of my job if you're just going to look at the damn YouTube chat? Okay, he says Elliott.
Elliott or Truex, yeah, definitely. I'd lean Elliott. Truex, though, I think is going to come in lower owned. So, like I said, I could see you going to both of them, but I'd lean Elliott over Truex.
Okay. I'll wait 15 more seconds just to make sure no one tries to sneak one in. I don't want anybody left out here. That's not my goal.
So, yeah, with wisetake.com, the NASCAR stuff is still free. You get my article, you get the projections, you get the cheat sheets. It's all there, man. Like I said, there's a punt column because sometimes we need it, but definitely don't need to go down there this week. So I'd stay out of the punt column if you're not on the Wise Take. Check it out, man.
Yep. It's free this week once again, so just hop on over there if you just want to look at some projections or see a little bit more ways on. But like always, thank you for everyone that hit subscribe, hit like, joined us on this live stream, asked the questions. We enjoy you being here, appreciate you being here. But for me, Clint Patricus at Clint Patricus, and if you want to hit up Tom on Twitter, ask him any questions, he'll be there in the Slack chat, everything at kartracing_22. Thank you. From the Wise Take Nation, good luck to everybody. Make some money and peace out.
Peace.